rockin' with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Find somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening and good morning. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Happy Monday. Happy as the Mondays to every single last one of y'all. What's good? What's happening? What's popping? What's good? What's happening? What's popping, y'all? Oh, my word. We got a lot to talk about. There's a lot that happened over this weekend. I missed you guys. I wasn't able to get on live with you guys. It was a busy weekend, to say the least. All right. But I was able to do a video for you guys, talk about something yesterday. So, you know, we got to do that. But I wasn't able to do live. So I missed you guys. So hopefully you guys had a wonderful weekend, enjoyed your day and all of that, or enjoying your day. And hopefully this show finds you in great spirits, because another day above the doggone dirt is a mother-loving blessing. Let's not forget that. Let us not forget that, y'all. Have mercy. I feel like we tend to forget things when we get sucked into the regular mucky muck of every day. All right? Every day is a mother-loving blessing. Let's not forget that. Yes, every day above this doggone dirt is a blessing. Okay, can I hear an amen in the chat? Just type in amen or number one in the chat. If you ain't holy, it's okay. You don't have to be holy to agree that every day above the dirt is always a blessing. Just hit the number one or some heart emojis, or put amen in all caps, okay, in the chat. I'd really appreciate that. Okay, now here's the thing. Do me a favor before we get into everything, because there's a lot of stuff that we need to talk about. A lot of things that have been popping off over this weekend we need to discuss as a fam. So please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms, like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick. I'm on all them mugs. So make sure you hit that follow button on those platforms. Hit that subscribe button right here on my YouTube channel, fam. If you're not doing that, I don't know what to tell you. Go to my second channel too, if you don't mind. Okay, you know, it would, if you are much obliged, ma'am. If you can, please go over to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there as well. Subscribe to both channels. Same thing, hit that notification bell, set it to all on both channels so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is whenever I get time and it's random, or whenever there's breaking news and something to discuss. So make sure you do that, please, and thank you. Hit that join button down below, become a member, check out my Patreon, and of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there, and possibly some new stuff coming. New clothing over on that website and in that store, coming very, very soon. You know what I'm saying? Something for the ladies and for the fellas. You feel me? So make sure you go and check out PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys. Yes. Happy Monday, y'all. I know some of us are like, Monday? Oh my God. Oh my God. I know it feels like, you know what I mean? I understand Mondays feel like Mondays a lot of times. You know, you got to rev the engine back up, get back to the same old mucky muck, get back to the good old rigmarole of just trying to make sure the lights stay on and the bread stays on your table and food definitely stays in your tummy. I understand. But hopefully you get to come into the show and enjoy yourself, conversate, have a great time, and be able to relax a little bit. Okay? No pressure. Okay, if you want to come in here all sad and sour, like sour grapes, that's on you. All right, that's how you want to live your life. Get it how you live it. All right, but hopefully you can come in here, have a great time, and enjoy your damn shelf. Okay, we are here about giving you love, entertainment, and a good time. Oh, and information. Let's not forget that. Okay, there's entertainment, but we are also talking about information. Now, somebody said in the chat, how dare you say this in the chat? Okay, I'm kidding. I don't really care. But You said, oh, is he about to give us misinformation? No. Why would I? I'm about to give you information about misinformation out here in these damn streets. Come on, man. Come on now. Y'all know better. Okay? So we got some things that we have got to get into. And, oh, I see you guys are seeing the YouTube GIFs. The YouTube GIFs. Yeah, we finally have that turned on. Okay? Which is dope. Okay? So if you want to do that, I don't even know what it does, honestly. But if you want to, send out some GIFs. It's a new thing for the show, okay, on the platform. So please, we finally got the okay, the thumbs up, which is yeah, feels good, okay, feels good, yeah. So please make sure, hit that gifts if you want to GIF some gifts, by all means, GIF, please and thank you. That would be greatly appreciated. Now, we got to talk about this, but we're not going to get straight into this just yet, but I just wanted to show this to you. This fake-ass toxicology report. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. Okay, that's just a little teaser, just so you know. This is fake. Here's the thing. Come here. Come here with your beautiful faces. All of you, all your beautiful faces, come here. No, seriously, I want to tell you something. Seriously. So if I'm giving you guys something and I'm telling you guys it's fake, that means it's not misinformation. I'm actually giving you information and giving you facts on the misinformation that's being shared and spread throughout these internet streets. You know what I'm saying? I'm just here for you. I'm here for you. I made this whole video and this live for you. Not for anybody, but just for you. You beautiful, I love that little freckle under your right there on your nose, on the tip of your nose, and right on the left, under your left eye. R.I.P. left eye. You're so pretty, okay, with your beautiful face. Those freckles. Love it, okay? Makes you, all right? Your beautiful face. I don't know anybody who has freckles, but if you do, hi. Sup, freckle face person. So pretty, okay? That was very specific what I said. So if anybody gets freaked out, no, I'm not checking you out. But I will say I loved what you did by changing out those shower curtains in your bathroom, just so you know. But moving on, we got to get into this, shall we? I'm not stalking anybody. Don't worry. Somebody's going to be like, Pascal's stalking. Stop. I'm not stalking nobody, okay? But, man, it was rubber duckies. There was a rubber ducky pattern, and now it's just like black diamonds, like a little shiny, shimmery things. Very nice. Love what you did. Love what you did with that shower curtain. Looking good now. You know, it's really bringing the bathroom together now. You know, making moves. But I don't like how you don't wash past your knees. Can you start washing your shins and your feet? Because that's throwing me off. Yeah. Just personal note to whoever just showers and doesn't wash their shins and their feet. They just think that the soap is drizzling down their legs. They just automatically think that because the suds are going down, that's washing their shins, calves, and their feet. And it's not. It's not doing a damn thing. Your shins and your feet are still nasty and dirty. Yeah, start scrubbing past the knees. Please and thank you. But love what you did with the shower. The bathroom. Woo! Magnifique. Gorgeous. Okay? Beautiful. So let's move on now. Okay? There's a video that I did with you guys. All right, I'm joking. It's all jokes, okay? Don't get worried. Don't worry. Don't get scared, everybody. Don't get scared. Just jokes here, guys. Today's just jokes. But now we're going into facts or questions within this information that has been given out to us, right? So yesterday, okay, no, we ain't, JLK, shut up, JLK. We ain't talking about no feet, all right? Just scrub beyond the knees, south of the knees. Because some of y'all don't do that, and that's weird. Some of y'all don't do that. Why? You know who you are. You in the shower, you're scrubbing everything else up above, your nether regions, your naughty bits, all right? You get down to the thighs, and then for some odd reason, you don't go down past the knees. Why? That does exist. Some people don't do that. It's weird. Just so you know. But we're going to move on to Nolan Wells. All right? Here's the thing. We just talked about this yesterday, and a lot of people are asking a lot of different questions. And I got questions, guys. Okay? I got some questions. A new possible sighting of Nolan Wells. Now, the timeline seems to be not timelining for me. It seems a little bit strange with this video that I'm going to have to pull up and show you guys in just a little bit. But like I said, we got a lot of questions. Aren't we all asking the same doggone question? I mean, you know, the three main ones is obviously who will be on boat number 2, what's up with Katie, and what is the timeline revolving around Nolan Wells if he really did turn to his friends and say, I'm going to hang out with Katie and them, and we're going to have a blast over here. But y'all go ahead and take care of whatever you need to take care of. I'm going to be over here taking care of what I need to take care of. You feel me? You see what I'm saying? So the question is, who be on boat number 2 if he actually did turn to somebody and say, hey, I'm going onto a boat with somebody. That man's name is blankety blank blank, right? Or what happened? What really happened to Katie? What happened with him and Katie? Right? There's, you know, according to Brandon Tatum, Officer Tatum, he said that there was apparently an eyewitness that saw a couple that may have been Nolan in the water with, you know, a guy and a girl. One of them could have been Nolan. It looked like they were having, you know, that there was some type of activity, vigorous activity going on in the waters. Don't know what that means, okay? That could be the funky dope loving, or it could be like a tussle. We don't know, right? And it sounds like that could have been Nolan with Katie. So, of course, we got a lot of questions about who was Nolan hanging with. How long was he hanging with Katie or any of his other people, his friends, etc., on the island after his other friends left with their boat trying to get that thing unsank? And, of course, this all revolves around the third question I just asked. What happened to him during the time that he said, I'm going to go hang out with Katie, to the time that his body washed up ashore and he was found tragically passed away? Those are the things that still need to be answered. Now, the question is, does this answer that? Does this give us more insight on what actually happened here? That's one thing I'd like to know. So, here's the thing. Taking a look at this, all right, in this article. Possible sighting of boat. Possible sighting of Nolan Wells and this boat. Allegedly, Nolan Wells and this boat, okay, in newly surfaced video. So, a newly surfaced video from Horn Island on July 4th may provide a potential clue in the search for Nolan Wells, with footage appearing to show that the boat he was allegedly last seen on. Now, we've already seen this photo, right? We all know and have, you know, been, dissecting this freaking video, right? This, to me, looks a lot like Nolan Wells. This looks like Nolan Wells like a mother lover. Now, there's been a lot of speculation on whether or not, you know, who this boat belongs to. And I think that's a very important question, too. Who owns Mac Daddy? Who owns the boat Mac Daddy? They say, at least the internet screeds, and I'm not sitting here saying that the internet screeds are wrong all the time. Sometimes they're spot on, baby, but they get ignored because it's the cry wolf situation, right? So is the Mac Daddy boat Katie's dad's boat? That's what the people are saying out here in these streets. which is interesting because then he's a huge fan of Crisscross. You know, the rap group from the 90s? Because he's a miggity Mac daddy. No, nobody. No, nobody at all. Okay. It worked with other people yesterday, but maybe it didn't work with y'all. But Mac Daddy, right? It's not Little Daddy. It's not Big Daddy, which I figured it was going to be Big Daddy, but I guess I'm wrong. It's Mac Daddy. Because when we see the footage, which we will be looking at here in just a little bit, it most definitely is Mac Daddy. Okay? Yeah, Gumby. I mean, you know, some people are like, yeah, I'm the Daddy Mac. I'm the Mac Daddy. It's the craziest thing, okay? But at the end of the day, I'm like, was he a huge fan of Crisscross? Yeah, Crisscross will make you jump, jump. Or the other song called It's the Bomb. I know you hear me coming, so you better watch your back. You know what I mean? It's the bomb. Nobody remember that? I know too much music. But you see what I'm saying? Is this Katie's dad's boat? Because if this footage was taken later in the day and the footage that we're about to look at was taken earlier in the day, that means that Nolan got real chummy with Katie for way earlier in the day. Way earlier in the mother-loving day. And was hanging out with her for a minute. It's not like he just walked up and he's like, hey, I like your bikini. And she's like, oh my God, I love your hair. And then they just started getting, you know, and he's just cradling her in his arms. He clearly was rapping with her for a good minute. So for her to be like, we just hung out for like 5 minutes and he just left and we left. Doesn't entirely go, these photos and this information doesn't entirely go with her narrative. Now, hold on. I know everybody's like, oh, Katie! Lo siento, but tranquilo. Tranquilo, por favor. Slow down. Slow down. We don't know anything yet. Okay? We don't know anything yet at all. So before we start jumping down a rabbit hole and start pointing fingers and saying, oh, now we got to go for a witch hunt, trying to destroy this young girl's life. Before we do all that, first off, don't do that, okay? Don't you dare do that. Stop it immediately. Don't do that, okay? We are good people here. But now I got questions. Because to me, it shows that she been known this dude for a little bit, at least for the course of the day. I'm not sitting here saying like she knew him for, 4 years. No, I'm not saying that at all. Okay? All I'm saying is she knew him more than just a quick hot minute. I'm just saying. My beautiful people. I'm just saying. So before you start losing your minds, slow down. Slow down. But one thing is for sure, we don't know everything yet. Now, let's get back over here real quick before we continue into more. We're going to be looking at the clip here in just a second. So, the clip was posted by a person who said they captured this footage on July 4th, that very same day, in the morning, around 11:17 a.m., before the area became crowded. In our video, metadata shows the video was recorded at 7:23 p.m. So this one right here, which I misread when I did the video yesterday. I misunderstood. I thought that they were talking about the metadata was showing that this particular video was actually shown or made on around 2:23, which I was wrong. Okay, they're talking about these two different videos together. All right. So this video down here that we've seen before, which we'll take a look at here in a second, was made later in the day, and saying that this particular video was done at 11:17 a.m. All right. So I misunderstood that in my previous video. So that's on me. Okay. But one thing is for sure. This was made hours after. And if it is him on the end of this boat, then Mac Daddy has some explaining to do. Okay? Now, give me a second. Let me just pull up this video, so we can take a look. Oh, hold on, because they got Piano Man, you know what I mean, playing in the background. But let's take a look at this video. All right? You've already seen it in the other video or in the video I did yesterday, but let's take a look at it now. Okay? No sound at all, because you know, I don't know why. What screams patriotism like Billy Joel and the Piano Man? I don't see it. I don't. Like I said, I expected on Horn Island nothing but like Kid Rock, Morgan Wallen, Florida Georgia Line, and Garth Brooks. You know what I'm saying? But they were playing Billy Joel on this boat, which is very interesting, you know? But take a look. Piano Man playing in the background, which is interesting as well. So you see a bunch of people in there, but it's obviously like, you know, things are just starting to get, but look at how many boats are in the back. I don't know if you see all these boats in the back, people starting to pull up, people just chilling a little bit further back, you know, further out into the ocean. But there's a lot of people there. Okay. But one thing that we need to take a look at is right up here. Splat-ow. This right here. I got a close-up that we're going to look at again. But if you notice, that looks a lot like possibly, okay, a lot like, no, Piano Man is not Elton John. Just so you know, he is a man who plays a piano, Elton John, but Piano Man is definitely Billy Joel. But let's move on, okay? It's okay, Jackie. But moving on, just Google it real quick, baby. But moving on, Mac Daddy is the boat right there. That's the same boat that Nolan was allegedly on in that other video, which we will look at here in a second. But everybody and their mama is wanting to look and stare at that photo right there. So let's take a look-see-loo, shall we? Because I did take a screenshot and zoomed into that mug, so we're going to take a look at that as well. So let's take a look at this right here. Blammo. Now, some people are like, there's no way this is him. I don't know what hat this kid is wearing, but I don't know anybody who wears a derby hat. I just don't know anybody that wears a derby hat in the summertime. You see what I'm saying? Or like a Jamiroquai hat. Virtual insanity. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't see it. Now, this could very well be just a very dark shadowing of a white male sitting at the end of this boat named Mac Daddy. And this could very well not be Nolan Wells at all. But the question still remains. A lot of people are wondering if that's him. Yeah, it may be a white kid with, or a, lighter skinned kid, because you never know. This kid could be Latino. He could be Asian. I don't know. Right. Remember from what Trayston said, we had there was a lot of people there. A lot of people were there of all races. We had Asian people there. We had Mexicans. He said all that. So it could be somebody who's light-skinned, like light-skinned black, or a very tan individual. Right? But a lot of people are wondering, is that Nolan Wells or not? It does kind of look like he's wearing a hat. But to me, I'm like, what kind of hat are you wearing? Because it's not like a regular old baseball cap representing his favorite baseball team, it looks like I said, it feels like he's, I don't know, about to audition for a Jamiroquai tribute band with the hat, or audition for Oliver, you know? But people are wondering if that's him. Now, here's the other thing too. The people in the back of the boat, sitting in the back of the boat, are completely different people. Completely different people than what we saw in the original video. Let's take a look at that video here real quick. Oh no. Hold on. Gotta love these ads. Let's take a look at this. Okay, what? And this footage terrible. This footage is terrible. But if you can even see, because it's so bad, okay, it's completely just garbled up. But here it is. That's allegedly Nolan Wells right here. This is really bad. Hold on. Does it get any better? Good God. Let's try that again, shall we? What the hell? Okay. So we see this, right? Nolan Wells I think that's Nolan. I definitely think that's Nolan. Sitting at the end of the boat, right? And then you have two other individuals sitting inside the boat. And it's Mac Daddy. Same boat. You see, the reason why I know that this is the same boat is, look at this. This yellow bag. It's the same yellow bag at the end of the boat in the other photo as well. It hasn't changed. So this is the same doggone boat. All right? And just the details of the boat, you can tell this is the same mother-loving boat. Now, question is, who are these people? Is this the owner of the boat? Or could it just be some other friends that just hopped out from the water, went into the boat to get some shade? That's possible too. But a lot of people are speculating that this owner, the owner of the boat, is actually this man right here. This individual, this bald individual wearing shades. And maybe that's Katie's mama. I don't know. I don't know the marital status of Katie's dad. Okay. But maybe. Or maybe his boo thing. I don't know their situation. Okay. But people are speculating and saying out here in these streets that the Mac Daddy boat is actually Katie's dad's boat. If that is the case, I would automatically assume that maybe Katie's dad was going to give him a ride home. Maybe. He's on the end of the boat right here. I feel like that is him. So if this is him, you see what I'm saying? Like something about this, I don't know. I'm not, okay, here's the other thing too. I'm not alluding to the father doing anything nefarious. I'm not saying anything of that sort. But I do have some questions on who this could, like, what happened to Nolan, you know? And again, like I said, everything's still on the table. Every possibility, every angle is still on the table. And we still need to figure out what actually happened here. Or they need to give us the information on what actually happened to Nolan. We haven't heard anything. Okay? We haven't heard anything yet. So all we can do is ask questions, look at all the information, and try to assess as best as we can what happened. And of course, we don't have all the facts yet. Hopefully we get some more facts here very soon. But we have to be very careful on what kind of facts are actually out here, because people be acting a damn fool now. Okay? Some people are trying to get us all twisted out here, which we will talk about here in just a minute. But nonetheless, you have this. And I believe that this is Nolan sitting at the end of the Mac Daddy boat. But then you go back to this Could that very well be him? Now, here's the thing. At 11:17 a.m., that would mean, and if this is Nolan Wells, which to me, when I look at it even more now, I feel like it's literally a Caucasian male wearing a very interesting hat in the summertime. It feels like a hat that you know what I mean? It feels like a hat you'd wear in the, in the fall and winter time. But whatever, do you, boo-boo, do you. But I feel like maybe this is a completely different person. I also will say this too. His physique. He's very skinny. Now, Nolan was skinny, but he was fit too, right? There was more, muscle tone, that kind of thing. No disrespect to this person, and if this is somebody else, no disrespect to this person, but there isn't much of a he looks like he's just very skinny. Does that make sense? So again, this could be a completely different person, right? And he's not as, thank you, Copper Mountain, not as muscular as Nolan. Like broad shoulders, etc., right? D1 athlete, football player, Nolan Wells. Does that look like a D1 athlete, football player? With all due respect, no. Right? Very skinny kid. And that could very well be what it is, a very skinny kid. But we'll see what happens as time goes on, right? But let me get this super chat here. JLK, a couple push-ups, JLK, you know what I mean? Just a couple push-ups every day will do just fine. You know what I'm saying? Get that chest out. Get that chest out. You feel me? Just get out. You know what I mean? But I can prep too. Thank you so much for the love. People are weird. Like, they expect these kids to show up on the internet with a ukulele telling their story or something. Yeah, no, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. We're all, a lot of us are demanding everything. And we can't expect to get everything. You know what I'm saying? We can't expect that. In reality, we aren't going to get that. No matter how hard we try. No matter how much we go, I want truth and transparency right now. They're not going to give it to us. They go to 5-0 and give that truth and transparency before you give it to us. And you know for a fact that information is going to leak. It'll eventually leak. But like I said, people are going crazy. People are going crazy. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating because of how nutty it has been as of late. So let's talk about this. So again, like I said, do you think before we go into that part, do you think that this right here be Nolan Wells or not? Definitely comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Is that Nolan Wells? Or is that man wearing a raspberry beret? You know what I mean? Or just a very big tuft of hair. I don't know. But comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. So we got to get into this next part because this is definitely something that I know a lot of y'all are in here for to discuss this as well. This is ridiculous. Let me just say how ridiculous this is. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard or seen in a while. We've seen a lot of stupid stuff. As of late, you got AI videos being shared all over the place of alleged fights that happened with Nolan Wells on Horn Island with a bunch of group of white kids and all that. You got all of that going on. You got people still sharing stuff that has nothing to do with Nolan Wells. I mean, literally, I saw a video. I'm not kidding. I saw a video of a guy. A guy shared this video of a rescue in the ocean of a black kid. Like a lifeguard was out there and it's, the waves are crashing and they went out there and, on a surfboard, swam out there and retrieved a black kid out of the ocean, right? Somebody was sharing that and being like, actual footage of Nolan Wells being rescued. I'm like, the kid is gone. There was no rescue. And this kid is literally alive, getting pulled onto the freaking surfboard, alive and breathing. And this person has the audacity to try to share that like it is actually Nolan Wells being saved. And what's even crazier is people were retweeting it. People were resharing it like it was the real deal. Holyfield. Like, what are you talking about? You see what I'm saying? There's so much footage out here that people are just taking, like the kid, the woman who's, kind of going down a river with her kids and all that. And then all of a sudden you hear these kids making monkey noises and just being rude to this black kid who's scared to go into the river, even though he's wearing a life vest, and they're trying to call him a chicken and all that. It was all really, really bad. People were saying that was Nolan Wells as well. And I'm like, the kid is gone. Nolan Wells has passed away. How would he still be able to? You see what I'm saying? The logic behind this stuff is appalling. Okay? And people were retweeting that, go, oh yeah, that be Nolan Wells. And I'm like, bruh, no, it's not. Not even any way, shape, or form is it. He may have the same type of hairstyle, but that's not Nolan Wells. I don't even remember the name of the kid. It wasn't even nowhere near Nolan. You see what I'm saying? It's not like he said, my name's Nate or something like that. No. He probably said, like, my name's Malik or something crazy. You know what I'm saying? Malcolm or something. You know what I'm saying? Nowhere near Nolan. And people were sharing it like it was Nolan Wells. Have mercy. It's dumb. It's dumb. And now we're dealing with dumb stuff like this now. Because people want to try to manipulate the narrative as much as they can. It's dumb. We're going to get into that in just a second. Copper Mountain, thank you so much for the love. And in the original photo of Nolan Wells on the end of the boat, hunched over, Katie's in the water next to him. You will see two heads in the water. Wait, what original photo of Nolan Wells on the end of the boat hunched over? Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. You are talking about, come on. Whoa. Oh, come on. Are you talking about right here? Right here? So she's somewhere over here? Because the kids, I will say this, that for damn show ain't her. Right here, those are two kids. Or two little people. Okay? So if you're talking about that, then that means she would be somewhere here. If she really is there. It's hard to make out. You see what I'm saying? It's very hard to make out, but that's possible. That is very possible. No doubt. No doubt indeed. So, again, like I said, this right here is ridiculous. Okay? This is stupid. So now you got people putting out fake toxicology reports, and people are sharing it like it's the real thing. This is a massive, massive problem. Because here's the thing. People are putting things out to deter people from the actual case. People are sharing this, and what's sad is that there are going to be people out here that are only going to know this information and this information only. And they're going to see this as truth. They're going to say, oh, yeah, he definitely, from his toxicology, you're going to see that he had nothing in his system or something of that sort, right? Or they'll be like, oh, there was something in his system. You can tell that, X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. Like this thing says, interpretation. Wait, specimen was analyzed using gas chromatography. I'm sorry, mass spectrometry. I don't know. Okay, liquid chromatography. Sorry, tandem mass whatever. Okay, for the detection and indication identification of toxic substances. All right. So this literally is somebody who went out of their way to make a fake toxicology report. Now I'm wondering who wrote this, and can they get charged for something like this? Can they get arrested for forging, basically creating a fake document and saying that this is actually his toxicology results? You see what I'm saying? Ethanol was detected in all tested specimens. The concentration, 0.28% in femoral blood is consistent with a lethal level of alcohol impairment. Fentanyl was detected in all tested specimens. Hold up. You see how messed up this is? I'm just saying, look, take a look. They're saying alcohol was in his system. And let me remind you guys, just so you know, hold on. For all y'all in the nosebleed seats, before you start running, making your TikToks and your videos, this is fake. This is a fake toxicology report. And whoever made this wanted to push a narrative that doesn't need to be pushed right now. And if they ever find out who this is, they should be arrested, because this is fake. We got it? Okay. So here's the thing. This is a big problem. And also the fact that they're saying fentanyl was in his system, that is really jacked up too. Okay? This is a problem because you put this kind of stuff out here for whatever reason. For whatever reason, whatever narrative that you're trying to put out here, people are going to be taking that and they're going to run with it. You already know people already did. Yesterday, they were sharing it like a mother lover. People are like, oh my God, toxicology report is out. Here it is. The truth is he was on, he passed away from Fenty. You see what I'm saying? And what's that going to end up doing? That just murkies the water. That makes things really, really bad. And it gets us away from actually figuring out what happened to who again? What's this case all about? Nolan Wells. Yes. So this is the problem. Because what's sad is, like I said, somebody's going to share this. Somebody who's late to the party. They're going to share this, or they're going to read it and go, oh my God, well, he died from Fenty. Wait. You're all out, in the cookout and you're hanging out. This happens to me all the time. I don't know how many times this has happened to me. Oh my God. I'm at a family event, or I'm at a cookout, or, I'm out, hanging out with some friends or something like that. And one of the friends will say something like, yeah, man, I see you've been covering that whole, for example, let's just use this case, the whole Nolan Wells case, right? So you saw the toxicology results came out, yeah? Came out a couple days ago, bro. Yeah, man, that dude had Fenty in his system. Damn, bro. And you're like, homie, you got it wrong. What? It was fake. Oh, that toxicology was fake? Homie, yeah, it was fake. Yeah, there's been a lot of reports about that thing being fake. Oh, damn, I saw it on my sister cousin's third cousin 3,000 times removed Facebook page. I just saw it for 2 seconds. I thought it was real. So I thought he just did a little yayo. He just didn't realize he took some bad yayo and he just died. You feel me? So I'm sorry, man. I didn't know that. Damn. So we back to the drawing board again? Yeah, dude. And this has been it's been 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? It has been 2 weeks and you still don't know. You didn't know it was fake for 2 weeks. Nah, man. Damn, that's a damn shame. So what's going on right now? Watch my show. You see what I'm saying? That's the sad part. Because some people will take it, see it in a flash. They won't even look at it. They won't even look at the facts. They won't even look at the actual paperwork. They'll just see the headline and go, okay, so that's what it is. And they move the F on. And then they keep spreading that information to other people. Yeah, man, he passed from Fenty, man. Yeah, man, he was out there kicking it, on that white girl. Now, I ain't talking about Katie. He on that white girl, you know what I'm saying? And that stuff was tainted, and he lost his life. And it's like, and then he says that to somebody else at work, and they're like, word? And then it spreads like wildfire. And it's misinformation. It's BS misinformation. This has already been put out. So the damage is already done because people are out here already sharing this throughout the internet, throughout Facebook. People are arguing with each other in the comment sections over something that doesn't even exist. It's not even real. It's fake. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so you see what I'm saying? It's not good. Because yes, Rosa, people will look at this fake toxicology result and say, ooh, he was poisoned. Or others will be like, oh, he was doing that yayo. He was on that gasolina and it was tainted. And that's how he lost his life. You see what I'm saying? And then they just take this and they run with it. And then they go into their other chat rooms and then in their in their little homes and their little cubicles and stuff, and they start spreading information that wasn't even real in the first place. And guess what happens? We forget what the narrative was about. We forget what the focus was, which is trying to figure out what happened to Nolan Wells because of BS like this. This is screaming George Floyd. Already. Screaming George Floyd. Just sprinkle a little Fenty on him. He'll be fine. Sprinkle some crack on him. Walk away. Okay. You know what I mean? It's getting ridiculous. It's getting really, 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 really ridiculous. But nonetheless, the news even talked about this, how fake news this is. Let's take a look.
The investigation continues surrounding the death of Nolan Wells, and as the story of the Mississippi 18-year-old has gained massive traction on social media, Public Safety Commissioner Sean Tindell is clearing false reports. The commissioner took to social media to say, quote, "The purported toxicology report from Nolan Wells is circulating through social media on various outlets is fraudulent. Nolan's family, friends, and most importantly, Nolan himself deserve better. Fraudsters, AI, and social media are a recipe for disaster. All they want you to do is click and share. Don't."
Thank you. Thank you. Stop it with sending out fake stuff. This is the problem. This is the problem. So far, until just now, it's been pretty decent. Yes, there's been misunderstandings about photos taken at specific days. On specific days, some people still think that the photo of Nolan at that pool party, some people say that that photo was taken after the time that he was reported that he allegedly, went missing. I'm telling you right now, I believe that photo was actually taken on June 27th. I really do. I really do believe that happened before, not after. But hey, people are going to believe what they want to believe. But that photo is real. It's not AI. The videos that we're seeing right now of the event of the last sighting of Nolan Wells, which I really do think that is a sighting of Nolan at the end of the boat. Not the newest one, but the most recent one we just saw, where we were trying to figure out if the boat said Mac Daddy or Lil Daddy, Big Daddy, and now we understand it's Mac Daddy. I truly think that's him hunched over on the end of the boat. I think that is truly him, and that could very well be one of the last moments that we see him alive. That's a big deal. Big, massive, fat-ass deal. But now you got people starting to put out stuff that ain't real. Like fake, entirely not real, 110%. Documents that they are forging, documents that they are creating and putting out here into the ether. For what reason? To get a rise out of people. And I agree with Sean Tindell. To get clicks. To share. Spread misinformation and go viral off of something that's not true. That is a massive problem. Okay? Don't share this stuff, guys. That's the reason why I'm on here. To go live and talk to you guys about that, because it's not real. And again, this has happened on countless countless other controversial cases that have been covered over the past, since AI became a thing. And it's wild, the stuff that's been out here. And, you know, you could talk about the Carmelo Anthony stuff. It's on the Austin Metcalf stuff, even a little bit before that as well, where there's just been nothing but fake stuff being put out here. And it's sad. People have better things to do than to do what they're doing right now, especially to this case. And I feel like a lot of people are doing this kind of crap solely because they feel some type of way about the families, like the family raising money so that they can, you know, afford decent representation and decent investigators to do their job to find out what actually happened here. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think that's really ridiculous. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. And yes, I agree, T. Misinformation, disinformation spreads much faster than actual truth. It's messed up, right? But let's continue.
I think it's one of the dangers that we face in the modern world where, you know, evidence gets out into the public realm, and it can be, and I'm not saying this was manipulated, but audio can certainly be manipulated, pictures can be manipulated, video can be manipulated, and rather easily. And so, you know, I think it's something that we have to keep in mind these days.
Tind also says the evidence will reveal the facts, adding that digital forensics professionals regularly analyze this type of information and should be allowed to examine it.
Yeah, give them a chance. Give these professionals a chance to actually do their mother-loving job. By doing this, this is only hurting the truth for Nolan. Remember, what are we forgetting right now? What are we forgetting right now? As we're looking in, clutching our pearls to fake information, fake doctored information that's out here. What's it doing? It's deterring us from actually getting the truth about Nolan Wells out here and exposed. In fact, it's slowing people. It could potentially slow the officials or the people that are doing things from actually giving information to the public about what happened to Nolan Wells. Have we not thought about that? Let's talk about a couple other cases. Let's just use Idaho 4, for example. Now, I know a lot of y'all may not know about the Idaho 4 murders, but I will say there's a new Netflix documentary out on Netflix about the Idaho 4 murders. Go check it out. Take a gander, and you'll be fully up to date for the most part on at least the broad strokes of the actual case, right? But remember how they literally put a gag order on everything? They sealed everything because people were getting wild with their accusations, with the theories. They held so much information from the general public, and there's still a lot of information that's still been withheld from the general public. We're slowly but surely, like, we started to get more information now because documents are now getting released. But during the time, at the height of that actual case, things were gagged, things were sealed and withheld from the public. Why? Because people were losing their doggone minds in these streets and didn't know how to act right. So they said, F it, we're going to seal it up. Nancy Guthrie's case, perfect example, even though Thanos is trash. Thanos Nanos is trash. But aside from him being trash, all right, a lot of information in the very beginning was being out there, and then suddenly they zipped it all up. Why? Because there was information being spread like wildfire that was not entirely 110% correct, which pissed off the sheriff. And then what happened? He shut it all down. And still to this day, we have not had a full-on press conference in regards to Nancy Guthrie's case, right? No glow, right? Pretty crazy, right? So again, stuff like this only makes the powers that be shut everything down, gag everything, seal everything from everybody. And that's exactly what's happening in Mississippi right now as we speak. What happened? as much as we are side-eyeing Mississippi, as much as we're side-eyeing the people in Mississippi, the officials, etc., one thing that's not helping them, and it's just confirming everybody's side-eyeing, giving them the reason to side-eye, is them being like, oh, we have all the information, but we're gonna gag all that. We're gonna seal all that information before we actually go on and make a decision if we're gonna do a grand jury or not. That's what we're gonna do right now. That doesn't help the situation. The general public continues side-eyeing them, and we're back to the drawing board and back to the conspiracy theories and the BS all over again. Just like when the autopsy from the secondary autopsy was done, and his throat was missing, of all things. His damn throat was missing. Why? That's weird. That doesn't make the situation any better. Now, I get it. The county medical examiner probably was still running more tests on his throat. But the fact that it's written in paperwork from the family's independent autopsy that he did not receive that, and of course it's standard procedure, but the fact that he didn't get a heads up, like, oh yeah, you're going to get all of him, but you're only going to get like 99.9% of him. Yeah, we're going to hold on to his throat because we're still running some tests over here. So just don't, nothing nefarious, sir. We just want to make sure you have that information. So when we give you not his whole body, but like 99.9% of his body, you're not asking where his throat is. They didn't even tell him that. So what else is new? What else happens? Everyone side eyes, and we're back to the speculation table all over again. That's a massive mother-loving problem. And then when you have people putting out fake information like the toxicology reports out here in the internet, when everybody's thirsty, okay, starving, like ravenous dogs, trying to find out any information about this, and they put that out, people consume it. And some people have selective memory, and they'll only remember this fake toxicology report. Even though they've been told to their face that it's fake, they'll still remember fentanyl. But it's fake, but fentanyl. That's all they're going to remember. It's sad. It's very sad. And it needs to stop. It really does. Because people are putting things out here because they just want to mess things up and make the family have a hard time. Or any of these families, for that matter, have a hard time. Like, did you not know? Just so you know, did you not know that the friends of Nolan Wells have now started their own Give, Send, Go? Yes, ma'am. And sirs, they have started their own GoFundMes or their own Give, Send, Goes. How does that make you feel? I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people that are angry about this. I'm going to be real. A lot of people mad. A lot of people big mad about this. Crazy. It's a little it's a little shocking. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna keep it a bean with y'all. I'm a little shocked. Here's the thing. I'm not sitting here going like, "Ooh, I'm gonna send angry text messages and emails to their families." No, I'm just shocked. I'm just a little surprised. How does that make you feel? I know JLK was like, wow, yeah, that like this is like a Flavor Flav wow. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow, New York, wow. Like, it's wow. To me, I'm wow. Am I mad? No. Shoot, this their lives. I don't care. But a lot of people are mad. Okay? But it did give me the wow. Flavor Flav, wow. And this too. Wow, New York, wow. Like that. Just so you know. Yeah, it threw me off. I was like, what? Why? Oh, no, maybe it's for money. No. They're doing a give, send, go to raise money to help with the investigation into Nolan Wells passing and his mysterious death, right? Well, let's check it out. Let's see what he's saying here. Let's see what they're saying. Now, it's been created by Warren's daddy, Benjamin Hudson. Okay, Dr. Hudson, to be exact. Okay. Cheerio. Dr. Hudson. So he created this. Stand with Nolan Wells' targeted friends. Hold on. Oh, by the way, right before I went live, I just wanted to see how much they raised, right? And this is the gifts and go. It was $89,000 before we went live. So within the hour, because we've been on for an hour now, it went up to $92,000. Oh, by the way, I just want to remind, oh my God. Let me remind you guys, let me just remind you something here really quick too. This is the same dad that put $50,000 towards a reward for anyone that has any information pertaining to Nolan Wells' last whereabouts and his last moments on Earth. Same daddy, Benjamin Hudson, Dr. Benny Hudson. Okay? Yeah. So he put up and created a whole gift set. Remember, he just said, I'm putting 50 grand on anyone that has any information about what happened to Nolan Wells. So we can bring that bad boy, that son of a gun, that jerk off to justice. But wait a second. That's 50 grand. Oh, damn. That's a whole lot of quiche. Hold up now. Let's just do a give, send, go, and we can take half of that. Maybe. That's what we're going to do. So he's not going to take 50 grand out of his own pocket, maybe. Yeah, he is the one who said, I'm going to put 50 grand on anyone who knows anything that happened to Nolan. But then at the same time, he's raising $100,000. And he damn sure about to reach that $100,000 probably by the end of the day. Hold on now. I just find it interesting. I just find it interesting. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Fundraiser funds will be received by a law firm. Just so you know. So in other words, the 50 grand that he's putting down is coming out of his own pockets. The $100,000 is going straight to a law firm. Why do they need a law firm right now? I ask. Let's take a look. Standing with Nolan Wells' targeted friends. On Independence Day weekend of 2026, it's like in the year of our Lord, 2026. Interesting. Lives were changed forever when a group of friends lost their best friend, Nolan Wells. No family should have to endure the pain of losing a son, and no friend should have to grieve the loss of a brother. But instead of being allowed to mourn, what followed was an unprecedented online campaign of accusations, harassment, threats, and defamation. Since his demise, since Nolan Wells' death, Warren Hudson, Jax, I'm just going to say their first names, Jax, Morgan, and many others have been inundated with threats of violence and defamation. They have been falsely and wrongfully blamed by individuals online and in the media of either directly or indirectly having a hand in Nolan Wells' death. Most of them could not even attend their own best friend's funeral. Let's pause right there. Would you allow your son or daughter to attend this funeral if there was even a small inkling of suspicion of their possible involvement into a friend's death? I'm just going to ask you guys that. Now, don't get it twisted. Like, let me just say this too. These kids should not be harassed. These kids should not be receiving threats. These kids should be left alone. Real talk. We don't know what happened, y'all. So why is everybody going so hard in the paint on these kids? Why don't we wait and find out what actually happened before we start losing our doggone marbles? Stop sending death threats. We also got another person who got arrested for sending threats to families, to parents, to the kids as well. What is wrong with you? Stop. Stop it already. But they're raising $100,000 because of these accusations, these the harassment, the threats, and the defamation. Now, I know a lot of people are not okay with this give, send, go. But if they want to raise that money, that's on them. That's their prerogative. But this is only stirring the pot, I will say that, because there's a lot more people that are mad about this. To me, I don't care. Like, if that's what you want to do. But I was hoping, honestly, I'm going to tell you, I was hoping that they would use this money to help contribute to Nolan's family in figuring out what happened here. But I get it. There's been quite a divide between Nolan's friends and Nolan's parents. So let's continue on. So they couldn't even attend his funeral. I will say this. They could have attended. They could have attended. They just would have dealt with a lot of backlash. I will say that. Since the beginning of the investigation, these young men have contributed with authorities, turned over all the information they had, and provided an overwhelming number of witnesses accounting for their whereabouts. And that is true. They've put out a lot of information. There are some things that are very wonky, but they've been contributing. But let's move on. Some of them even resorted to speaking up publicly to defend themselves against baseless allegations. That's true, too. But unfortunately, it has become clear that the truth doesn't matter. Countless large voices across social media declared them guilty of crimes they could not have committed and have never been charged with. We haven't seen any arrests. We haven't seen any charges. That's very true. Their names, faces, and personal information were spread across the internet. They and their families have received thousands of hateful messages, death threats, and calls for violence. They have been threatened online and in person countless times. That's crazy that they're even getting tracked and attacked in person. That's insane. There have been boom threats, have mercy, packages sent, and credible threats of which arrests have been made. We're going to look at one that's true. People are getting arrested. That is very true. Parents have feared for their children's safety. Lives have been turned upside down, and some have had to go into hiding. Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, and the usual suspects of social media personalities, national news media, and local provocateurs continue to invent and spread false narratives and lies with no accountability. This is the typical tactic of Benjamin Crump and the like. They come to the communities like the Gulf Coast under the guise of seeking justice, but it has become painfully clear that their version of justice is stirring division, ruining lives, and then leaving when the money is dried up. Whew! Damn, shots fired. And I know a lot of people would sit there and agree with what he's saying here too. Okay, but let's move on. We have seen this same pattern time and time again, most recently during the Carmelo Anthony trial. No matter what anyone believes about an ongoing investigation, our legal system exists for a reason. Evidence belongs in the hands of law enforcement and the courts, and not in online mob campaigns fueled by rumors, edited clips, edited audio, speculation, or misinformation. This must stop. Edited audio. Okay. This fund is created for the sole purpose of fighting these individuals. Our goal is simple and twofold. Our first goal is to raise money to defend these friends against incoming wrongful death actions filed by, filed by attorney Benjamin Crump and his team. The second is to fund a robust legal team to sue for the litany of slander and libel being spread by not only Benjamin Crump, but also many social media influencers, news outlets, and local provocateurs who know better. If litigation becomes necessary, this fund will provide the financial support needed to investigate claims, retain legal counsel, preserve evidence, and to hold accountable those who cross the line from expressing opinions into conduct the law may recognize as actionable in any jurisdiction we can find them. This is not about silencing legitimate discussion or respectful disagreement. People are free to ask questions and express opinions. Woo! I got a little word. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. This is about drawing a line against defamation, targeted harassment, threats of violence, doxing, intimidation, and coordinated campaigns that destroy lives before the facts are known. We know the risk some of you may feel outwardly supporting Warren, Jax, Morgan, and others. We understand. We understand better than anyone that threats you, anyone the threats you face. We know that although you know the truth, publicly supporting these young men may cause social discomfort or cancellation. But we also know that you're tired. You're tired of the lies. You're tired of the hate and division. You're tired of judgment before all the facts come out. You're tired of seeing these dividers get away with it in time, get away with it time and time again, and feeling too powerless or voiceless to stop it. But this is it. This is the moment and the cause that can help make a difference. Not a difference just in these boys' lives, but as a message that we're all tired of the grift. Your donation says that enough is enough. Your donation says that the time of exploiting a tragedy under the guise of justice and leaving a community in ruins after squeezing as much money out of it as possible is over. Nolan deserves dignity, not this. So, although we ask humbly for support to stop this onslaught of lies and defamation, we also ask with as much passion as we can muster, because we too are tired. We too are heavy laden. But right is right and wrong is wrong. If you believe in truth, due process, and holding people accountable through the rule of law and not through internet mobs, we ask for your support. Thank you. Crazy. Crazy. So again, what say you? Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. Because I know some people sit there and say, oh yeah, you know, if you're tired of grifters, donate to me while I'm grifting. I don't know. You know? Actually, I'm gonna put in a poll. Hold on. I'm gonna put in a poll for this. It's going to be a simple yes or no. This basically, are you for him? Are you for the friends doing a give, send, go? Let's refresh it really quick. Let's see how much they've made so far. It's gone up 1,000 since we've read the whole page. It's gone up a whole $1,000. Crazy. Or, you know, several $100. How's that? Crazy, right? Now, some people are upset about this. Some people are not happy with this situation. They don't like that these kids that they're raising money for some legal representation. Well, I will say this: if you're having people out here going ham sandwich, literally losing their doggone minds, and threatening your very livelihood, I don't blame them for getting representation. How's that? I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. They need protection. They are getting thrown on the chopping block. And here's the problem. I know everybody's angry. I know everybody feels some type of way about this case. I know that there's been a narrative out here. Okay, whether you like that narrative or not, there has been a narrative. Whether you want to acknowledge that the narrative exists or not, there is a narrative out there. Not all of us agree with that. What a good portion of us want is the truth. That's it. A good portion of us just want to know what the F happened here. But you shouldn't be doing what we're about to look at here in a second. You shouldn't be going out and doxing people just because you would disagree with them. You shouldn't be calling people out. You shouldn't be going over to their homes. You shouldn't be giving boom, boom threats or threats to their lives or their own family's livelihood and all that. That's not helping the situation at all. That's making the situation worse, and it's showing how crazy people have been over this whole situation. Sad. It's really sad. We don't know everything yet. You realize that we don't know everything yet, right? We have no idea what happened. We don't know everything yet. And yet we got people out here doing crazy stuff like this. Okay? Making threats. Allegedly made boom boom threats, okay? To officials within this whole Nolan Wells case. And this chica now is locked up. Why? Because she said she was making threats that she was going to make things go boom. Like you got to be some kind of crazy to be out here doing this kind of, look at this. This woman right here. Okay? And there's already another person that was arrested a few days ago as well because of these threats. Ohio nut job is facing years behind bars after she reportedly phoned in dozens of boom threats to government offices in Mississippi investigating the Nolan Wells demise. So their name, okay, her name is Michelle Edwards, Michelle Francine Edwards. She allegedly left 29 alarming calls with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office and the George County Chancery Clerk's Office last month, threatening that the quote unquote the clock is ticking and warning, do not go outside. Edwards of Cincinnati. She was making these phone calls from Cincinnati. Edwards of Cincinnati. She was from. Oh my God. Okay. So Edwards of Cincinnati allegedly made 2 sets of calls on July 23rd using a blocked number, according to the complaint. The clerk's office received 21 calls from a blocked number in the span of 8 minutes that day. 8 minutes! 21 phone calls in 8 minutes. How do you do that? Did they just keep on going? Let's just send it to send it to voicemail. Send it to voicemail. Ignore. Every time she called, 21 calls in 8 minutes in one mother-loving day. The sheriff's office dispatch then received 8 calls using star 67. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. To match the caller's identity in less than 20 minutes. 8 calls using star 67 because she thought that if she said she dialed in star 67, it would block her phone number. No, it doesn't work that way, baby. It doesn't. Oh, you special kind of dumb now, baby. You special kind of dumb. Yeah, she had it on speed dial, and apparently, yeah, that's a speed dial. You don't go 1-800 over in 8 minutes. No, you just hitting redial. She put star 67, think that this would block her whole. She dumb. Oh my God, she dumb. Oh, okay, listen. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry, this is just dumb. It's dumb. Oh, she wanted to get arrested. She really just wanted to get it. She wanted to get arrested. So that mass dialer said, y'all got a boom boom outside. Don't come outside, B word. And later, she said, y'all still in there? You want to know? She is going to be perfect for Thunderclap. Remember Thunderclap? Emmanuel Haro, Rebecca Haro. You know, because she's locked up too. Remember that. And she's been looking for a partner while she's locked up, doing her Orange is the New Black. You know what I'm saying? And she already got the neck tattoo. You feel me? They just need to transfer out to California. They're a match made in heaven. Okay? She's going to be like, Thunderclap. You know what I'm saying? Moving on. She said, y'all still in there? Okay, so the anonymous threats triggered a building lockdown and a boom boom sweep with canines after submitting an emergency disclosure request to both C Spire and Verizon to identify the phone number used to place the calls, because star 67 doesn't work that way. Cell tower data from the night of the incident also showed the phone used to make the calls had quote unquote bedded down near this crazy woman's address in Cincinnati. She was slapped with threatening communication in interstate commerce charges on Thursday. The threats came in weeks after investigators, including the sheriff's office, opened a probe into the demise of Nolan Wells. And of course, a lot of people, not only just the family, which I'm going to talk about that here in a second, okay? But the kids, the judge, Warren's, or I think it's Wyatt's mom, who is a judge, Jackson County judge in Mississippi. She was also receiving threats. There was somebody else that got arrested for making threats against his mom as well. The Ashley Cole. Okay. So again, this is all very, very bad. And so this is number two. This is the second person to be arrested over Nolan Wells' case. But I do want to say this, okay? This is what sparked in my head, and I want to say this too. Where are all the arrests going to be happening? When are all the arrests going to happen for this family that's also getting threats as well? I'm just saying. I'm just asking, because this family's also getting threats too. They're also getting death threats. Oh, they for damn sure getting death threats. They've already talked about that. So where are the arrests for them? Because there's a lot of people that are getting arrested for threats towards the kids and towards the parents of these kids, of Nolan's friends, which I understand. Arrest them. They shouldn't be making these threats. It's not right, because we don't know who did what. And if anybody did anything, that's the problem, right? We don't know anything yet, you see, and people are going crazy. But here's the other thing too. People don't know anything yet either. And they're going after this family and saying, how dare they, do this, that, and the third. They're going out of their way to harass the mom. They're trying to destroy her career. They're trying to Yelp review her career, which is insane if you ask me, okay? Trying to tarnish her name as well, all that. They're also receiving death threats. Where are the arrests for that? If you're going to be arresting for them, on that side, the families and the kids, which I understand, you should be doing the same doggone thing for the family. Nolan's family. They're more publicly out here. They're the only ones that are publicly out here. You understand that? Sure, Wyatt did an interview with Brandon Tatum. Sure, you heard from Trayston. Same thing with Brandon Tatum. But other than that, every other kid is hiding out. Katie and them, all of them hiding out, deleting their social medias. They are the only ones that are out here in the ether, out there on the chopping block, risking their whole lives and their freaking necks just so that they can understand what actually happened to their son. That's it. But everybody is getting arrested for making threats to the kids, but they're not making, hopefully they're making arrests soon. Where are those arrests? That's all I'm saying. Where are those arrests? Those arrests should be coming. Those arrests should be coming because people are threatening this couple, and they don't deserve that. None of them do. None of them do. Nobody does. Let me make that abundantly clear. Nobody does. Nobody. It's messed up and it's sad. And I'm hoping that arrests universally start happening. And here's the other thing too. Stop making threats to innocent people. Stop making threats to kids. Have mercy. What's wrong with you? Stop. Stop making threats. You will end up getting arrested. Just like dumbass number 15 over here. That is a special kind of dumb. That is a special kind of stupid. You know what I'm saying? I got a right idea. Let me send a package. Ooh, y'all better get out. Got a package for you. It's about to go boom, boom. Hello? Are y'all still in there? Damn. That's 27 phone calls in 8 minutes. Something like that. That's insane. That is already somebody who has serious mental health issues. Let's just keep it a bean. That is already somebody with serious mental health issues. All right? But burger. Some of these things, it's just like I can't even believe it's even real. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Here's another thing. Nolan Wells' mother, tells critics to unfriend and block her if they oppose her fight for answers. See, why do we have to be in that situation? Why does this mother have to say any of that? Make that make sense. You got plenty of other people that have, plenty of other families that have been going so hard to find out where their child is or what happened to their child. Why does it automatically have to be such a divisive situation where you got a grieving family trying to figure out what happened? Let's be real. Think about this for a second. If this was your kid, wouldn't you want to know? Regardless if you said, nah, those boys didn't do nothing. Think about this. Nah, those boys didn't do nothing. Let's just put the kids off to the side. Let's just say the kids, those boys had nothing to do with this. I still don't know. I still don't think that they did. I think the only bad thing that they did was leave this kid behind. That's what I truly think. I don't think that audio is it's suspicious, but I don't think it's nefarious. I don't think any of that. I think the worst thing that they did was leave that kid behind. Now, no one's ever talked about, and that's, like I said, I keep saying this, and I'm going to keep saying it until I'm blue in the face, until we get some more clarity on these things, okay? But do we know what happened to him from 3 until he was found dead? We're so focused on the friends. We're so focused on getting the boat unsank that we're not even looking at what happened after he left. After he said, no, I'm hanging out with Katie, bro. I'm going to hitch a ride later, bro. Why are we not obsessing about that? Why are we so like, ooh, oh my God, Warren was wearing pink shorts. Ooh, that means something. Like, why are we so focused on the doggone boat when I feel like maybe nothing happened on the mother-loving boat, and the only thing that was told and done was him saying, I'm going to stay with Katie, and I'm going to get a ride over here. What happened from 3 until he was found on the shore? That's it. Why can't we have these answers? Why can't we start asking those questions? Here's the other thing too. I'm gonna say it. Yes, how he passed away, how he disappeared, and all that. Let's be real, okay? Very weird. Yes, everything is still a possibility. The kids are still on this table as well. All right. I'm not sitting there saying they're totally in the clear. Anything's possible. But one thing is right now is everyone's so leaning so hard on audio and leaning so hard on these kids, but then at the same time, it's like, well, we have other reports of him surviving, living, kicking it allegedly after they left. So why aren't we obsessing about that time? Because again, that time is important. That timing is important. That time that he hung out with Katie. Remember, Katie said that they walked off. They left the boat. So for everyone's like, oh my God, Bart choked him out and did this, that, and the third. Hold on. How do you, what? Then it would mean that Katie is just flat out lying. You see what I'm saying? That would mean that Katie is flat out lying. So if he said, I'm going to go with Katie, and they left, that means he was still alive when he left the boat. And if, according to Katie, she's like, I hung out with him for a few more minutes, and then he left. If that is true, that means he was alive when he left the doggone boat with Katie. So again, what is going on here? Oh my God, you got a point there. Oh my God, you got a point there. Where's that? Boom, Swifty from downtown. Whoops. Mac Daddy. It's official. I mean, I hate to be shooting from the hip, but Mac Daddy, that boat, that doggone boat right here, her last name is McCormick, or McCormick. Mac Daddy. McCormick. Mac Daddy. So this very well could be Katie's daddy's vessel. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. Swifty, thank you. You're brilliant. Thank you. That would make sense for Mac Daddy. I just thought he was a huge fan of Criss Cross. Boom. Mac Daddy, McCormick. Interesting, right? Her last name is McCormick. I'm assuming she has her daddy's last name. McCormick, Mac Daddy. Interesting. So this could very well be Daddy's boat. Now, here's the thing. I keep on saying over and over and over again. If he really truly left that boat with his friends, that was with the sinking boat, and they're trying to get their boat unsank, that would mean that when he went off, he was still alive. And he was hanging out with Katie. Katie has the story. If this is truly, did I delete it? I think I took it down. But if that really is him hunched over on the end of that boat, this same boat that's right here, that means he had a life when he left the boat. But everyone's sitting there going, oh, Bart this, Bart that. Damn it, Bart. Who's the Bart? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, he left. I truly think that he did leave. He went with Katie. Katie has the information. Katie knows the information after he left that boat with his friends while they were trying to get their boat unsank. Why is everybody so focused on audio that I don't think even, it's weird. Yes, it's weird, but I don't think it has anything to do with his demise. Damn. That's just what I'm saying, y'all. Think about it. Think about it. Some people think, oh yeah, Bart was choking him out while they're making the dispatch call. Yeah, I need my boat on sink, and you just got him just choking him out right there. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't think it's like that. I'm sorry. Okay, after hearing it a million times, yes, it sounds crazy. The audio is crazy. Is it doctored? No, I don't think it's mother loving doctored. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird. But at the same time, come on, man. Come on. He left. We need to be looking at 3. We need to know 3 and on. 3 p.m. when he said, deuces, I got this girl in my arms. I'm about to, have fun. We about to hang out. It's a new little island romance, right? Down by the beach. Boy, you know what I mean? They drunk. Yep. They kicking it. They probably did a little hooking up. You see what I'm saying? Sheesh. I'm just saying. What happened from 3 on, y'all? We should be freaking obsessed over that. Not Bart and Dim. You know what I'm saying? That's just me, though. I understand other people are going to be, feeling some type of way. All right. About what I got to say. It's fine. Okay, you think I'm dumb? You think I'm an idiot? It is what it is. I'm just thinking with my brain. Okay? I got brain waves. The thing that's in this skull of mine, it's just asking questions, y'all, as we all should be asking questions. You feel me? JLK, thank you so much. I think we need to take a Pascal field trip to Horn Island. Woo! You want to fund it, JLK? By all means, go ahead, baby. Okay? By all means. You want to fund it? Let's go. Let's mother loving go. All right? Yeah, we gonna be sitting our tuchus right here. All right. I mean, that's why you got everybody else out there. ABC. I'm right here in front of Horn Island. As you can see, the water is pretty rough. And welcome to Officer Tatum show. We over here buy my t-shirts. We right here. Did I say buy my t-shirts? Yeah. Okay, buy my t-shirts. But we're right here on the island, Horn Island with Warren. We're looking at all these things. Man, it is not about race. Buy my t-shirt. I'm telling you right now. What happened? 3 on. 3 p.m. on. What happened? I don't think anything happened to him on the boat. I'm sorry. I know the majority. I hate you. It's like, I'm dumb because I'm asking a doggone question. Okay. I'm asking my loving question. I have every right to ask that question. Okay, boo. Okay. What happened from 3 on? Because I don't think he was dead on that boat. No, I don't think that Katie was watching in horror right there next to the boat as they're trying to get the boat unsank. His life is slowly slipping away right before her eyes. And so she just said, I will not speak not one word about this ever. No. I think something happened from 3, between the time of 3 when he left that boat. Clearly something happened between the time he left that boat with Katie to the moment that he washed up ashore. What happened? That's it. What happened? And we should be focusing on that. That's what we should be obsessed about. What happened after the fact? 3 on. Did he go and drink more? Did he go and do some yay? Which I think is insane, but Brandon Tatum put it out there. So it exists now. What happened here? What did he do from 3 until his body was found washed ashore? And I know T is like, how dare you ask questions? How dare you? How dare you use your brain? How dare you? It's like, I mean, I'm asking mother level questions just like everybody else. Natasha James, you're making an assumption. I'm assuming that's to me. So let me just say this. I'm making an assumption. Isn't that what everybody else is doing? I'm asking questions. The assumptions are coming from everybody else. Everybody else who's instantly going and saying, Bart did it, and sending him threats, that's them making wild assumptions, right? Wild and wrong assumptions. Homegirl that just got arrested for Star 67. I'm sorry. Special kind of dumb. You know, she's doing wild assumptions, deadly assumptions, and attacking buildings that elected officials are working at. You see what I'm saying? I'm just asking questions. I'm not sitting here going, oh, yep, Katie did it, or yep, Bart did it, or oh, yeah, Wyatt and Warren did it. Nope, not even close, damn it. But there's a lot of people that are out here that are making wild assumptions and accusations about these people. Okay. So I just have questions. And we should be looking from 3 p.m. on. But I get it. Some people are just feeling some type of way, and they just don't like the thought. They just can't fathom the thought of thinking outside of whatever they already have, that bias, that whatever they have in their mind. It is what it is. Okay? It's sad. It's sad. But here it is. Shout out to the Art of Dialogue. My boy, Art of Dialogue, always killing it. He did an interview with Mr. Benjamin Crump. And we have got to take a look at this. Full-on exclusive interview, Art of Dialogue. They discuss Nolan Wells' case. So we have got to take a look at this. I am going to speed it up just a smidge so we can get through this quickly. All right. So let's take a gander.
Take up that much of your time. Nolan Wells, for the people that's unfamiliar with that case, can you break that down?
Certainly. Nolan Wells was an 18-year-old black teenager who, on 4th of July, was celebrating with his friends, and he went out on Horn Island. He went with his 3 other friends, at least what we have in the photograph, and they were young white teenagers. He was the only black teenager. And somehow they all came back home safely on the 4th of July, but Nolan Wells did not come home. His mother, their families announced that he was missing. They were, out of their mind with concern. And then his body was found washed up on shore 2 days later, face down, dead. And so then everybody started to try to say, well, what happened? When you look at the videos, there were 300, 400 people out there. And what we've been saying, somebody knows something, somebody saw something. There was a young lady named Katie who said that, she was talking to Nolan, but then he got back on the boat with the people he came with, or got back on the boat with the boys. And the boys who were on the boat with him said, Nolan said he was going to stay behind with Katie, and that he was not going to go back with them. One of the things that has been bewildering is the fact that if he says he's going to stay behind, why doesn't an 18-year-old get their cell phone? If they're not going to go with the boat, why would they leave it with them? His mother, called his phone 3 times, got no answer after they started getting concerned. And it was when they did the Life 360, trying to say, find my phone, is when she found out that the phone were with the friends. And so her friend went to get the phone. And when they got the phone back, they discovered that there were a lot of Snapchat messages that were deleted. They also found that there were some texts deleted. So that was very concerning to them as they're trying to figure out, what happened to my child? Our child is dead and we have no answers. Nobody's telling us anything. And so it became just an incredibly painful ordeal for them trying to find out what happened to Nolan Wells. And then America became engaged in this matter because it wasn't adding up to anybody. He says, I'm going to stay behind, but he leaves his cell phone. He doesn't have his car keys. Well, if he's staying behind and you don't have any of that information, people are saying, did he stay behind? And so that becomes a question. And obviously there's this CTO audio that comes out that people have did forensic audio engineering on it to try to see what was being said on the audio recording of the CTO kind of 911 type call. And it's in that call that people say they hear certain things. We have retained audio engineering experts to be able to decipher and to render expert opinions on the validity of the CTO 911 audio that seems to suggest things about the presence of Nolan.
I want to know if they've heard any more information on that. I think that's one thing I want to know. And I think that's one thing I'm sure all of y'all want to know. If he brought in experts to analyze this call, what did they find? What did they find? Number one question. Number one burning question, right? Let me get this. At 4 Dread. Thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. I've been searching official records to see how many drownings have occurred at Horn. They like to say it's a frequent occurrence. I've yet to find one. Interesting. Huh. Now, if that is accurate, that is very crazy. I mean, there's apparently like entries from other people in the past, like log entries and stuff like that, saying how volatile the waters are around Horn Island. But yeah, that's one thing. Warren said in the interview, we know a lot of people that actually did drown in around Horn Island. And I'm like, so who are they? Like, who's the we know? Who are the people that you know that actually drowned on Horn Island? Because I think that would help us a little bit more too. Have there been a lot of deaths? Have there been a lot of casualties on Horn Island because of swimming too far out or getting sucked under or shoot, even shark attacks? F it. Why not? Let's throw it all in there. You know what I mean? Have there been any type of anything out there? I don't know.
And so we are trying not to speculate. We're trying to investigate. But we are asking questions that don't add up to us. And that's what everybody's been doing. Because everybody says, how can this 18-year-old college football player who's in tip-top shape just go missing and nobody knows anything? Nobody's seen anything. And the sheriff within, hours after he was discovered, his dead body, they claimed that, that no foul play, accidental drowning is what they suggest. And his family are saying, we can't accept that when you make that conclusion without doing no investigations. And so what they want is a full impartial, fair investigation into what happened to Nolan Wells. In our community, we see people investigated very zealously. And so we want the same thing for our children. We want them to zealously investigate this matter, just as if they would if the roles were reversed. And that's what I think has people in the minority community saying, hold on, we want to know what's on everybody's phone. We want to know social media, because all of that could become very relevant information as to what happened to Nolan Wells.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the woman that Nolan was hanging out with when he was at the island, Katie, her sister, Gracie, came out and said that Nolan intended to go back to the mainland with his friends, right?
Yeah, there seems to be a conflict in what they're saying. They said he stayed with the young lady. The young lady said, no, he got back on the boat.
So that's a problem right there. Right there. Okay, so if he went back on the boat, is there proof of that? Because obviously there is no proof, because if he went back on the boat, how long did he hang out with her? Was he standing right there? See, this is the thing. Did he stay with her the entire time? Did they go off somewhere? And then he came back and got onto the boat. She's saying he got on the boat. He didn't stay with me. He got on the boat. So did he get on the boat immediately, or did they leave to go somewhere, hang out for a bit, and then he said, I'm gonna head back and I'm gonna get on that boat because they're about to leave. You see what I'm saying? So that's the part that I'm confused about, and that's the part I think that's like I said, Katie is the key. Katie's been the key. I've been saying this for a while, before we even got the phone numbers or the phone calls, before we even heard about him like doing yayo, allegedly doing yayo, before we even heard about him drinking heavily and all that smear campaign BS that they're trying to do on Nolan, okay? And we'll find out when the toxicology comes back, the real toxicology comes back. But here's the thing. Where is Katie? Katie is the key, okay? Yeah, J. Marie. I don't want to hear from her mom. I don't want to hear from her sister. I want to hear from Katie directly. But right now, all we're hearing is from the mom and sister. And I get it. They're doing everything they can. You know, they're protecting their loved one and all that. I'm not knocking the family. I'm not knocking family for protecting Katie. But at the same time, I'm like, Katie's the key. She is allegedly the last person to see him alive. For her to sit there and say, no, he went back on the boat. How long were you really with him then? Were you really with him right there at the boat? And then he said, I'm going to go get on the boat with them. And then he went back on the boat immediately after that? Because like I said, it doesn't make any sense. She says, no, he left with me, or he left with them. He got on the boat. There's no proof of that. There's no footage of him on the boat. There's audio of him going like, so like I said, it just doesn't make sense. And it would be nice to get some clarification on this. That's the problem. Clarification would be king right now, but we haven't heard not a damn thing from her. We have not heard anything from Katie. And if everything is, if like right now, they left, if this audio is not nefarious at all, and it comes back saying, no, they were really just talking about the boat and having issues with the boat, at the end of the day, it is still Katie. Katie's the last person to see him alive, and she's the only person that we have not heard anything from. Just like a lot of these other cases that we've talked about in the past. Have we not been like, yo, the last person to see this particular person alive usually is the person that we should be looking at, like asking real questions, not instantly side-eyeing them, but asking questions at least, right? We should be hearing from them. She's the last person to see Nolan alive. That is facts. You got friends saying one thing. She's saying, no, he went over there. He went on the boat. He went right back on the boat. There's no proof of that. She is the last person to see him alive. Let's not forget him hunched over on Mac Daddy which is most likely Katie's dad's boat. So if he really was on that island for a long time, either somebody else who was supposed to take him back to the mainland left him there, or something else. But we need to find out what happened with Katie, because she's saying, yo, he went back to the boat, but he didn't. He didn't. As much as everybody's like dissecting that audio, that man was not dead on that boat. He was not. Sorry, he just wasn't. But let's move on.
And so, that seems to be one of the biggest issues that everybody is trying to figure out, as well as the independent autopsy where he had red discoloration at the back of his brain that was found in the second autopsy, and also the fact that the initial state medical examiner kept possession of Nolan Wells' throat, and we don't know why they did that. Our pathologist, Dr. Roger Mitchell, said when he was the chief medical examiner for the city of Washington, D.C., that they normally would do that it wasn't uncommon if they suspected that there might be some fracture or some compressions to the throat.
So after y'all did the autopsy, from what you know, what do you believe that was on the back of his neck?
We can't speculate. We know that we think Dr. Roger Mitchell should have the benefit of looking at all the autopsy notes and observations and photographs from the first autopsy, and then have, the state medical examiner be able to look at all of his notes from the second autopsy and try to work together to figure out what conclusions that they can draw from the autopsies, both of them. And then also waiting for toxicology. That becomes a factor in finding out the manner and cause of death. But Dr. Mitchell said, and this is very, very important, he said, if it's a drowning, then that still doesn't answer the whole question of what happened to Nolan Wells, because he said then there are questions about, was Nolan Wells' condition of his body conscious or unconscious when he went into the water? Furthermore, he said, did he go into the water unforced or forced? He said all those things become factors.
Makes a lot of sense. And I know his friend Warren Hudson, he came out with an interview where he made a statement about how Nolan, he was drinking liquor on the boat. You heard about that?
Well, we don't know. We want the toxicology to come. We know when you hear the CTO audio call, it appears that there was some intoxication. But again, toxicology can tell us that. And people's firsthand eyewitness testimony can tell us that. We want answers. As I've said over and over again, I am for truth, no matter who it implicates or who it exonerates. I am for justice, no matter who it convicts or who it acquits. And I am certainly for transparency, so all of us can see, and we can have trust in the system, that this was a fair, impartial, and complete investigation.
What say you guys on that? I do think it's interesting. But we still have to wait and see what else is being, what they find. They're going to be investigating into this phone call, and hopefully we find out what actually happened here. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. We get some semblance of clarity, because that's the one thing that we need. Because everybody's obsessing about that audio. That audio could very well be, it could very well be real. Like something nefarious really was going on. That's not what I'm feeling right now. That's not the feeling I'm getting. But you never know. You never know. Now, I do want to share this with y'all because I was looking for this. Because we definitely need to talk about this, this audio, and of course, what lawyers are saying. Because people are, there's a lot of lawyers out here that are speaking, a lot of lawyers that are speaking on behalf of the kids, right? So on Cuomo, this is just a very interesting, conversation. So let's just take a listen to this, shall we?
Story isn't just about due process. It's not just about the truth. It is an ugly manifestation of rage bait. and enragement on social media. And the family has been treated terribly. The friends of this kid and their families have been treated terribly.
No doubt.
And now someone is fighting back against these people who get paid per click to create outrage. An alleged enhanced audio of the CTO call that purports to have a background conversation that is suggested sounds like people explaining the murder of Nolan. What is the legitimacy of the audio? The word Bart is in there, and I know real people with real platforms are pointing the finger at your client.
Yeah, so we don't see any legitimacy in a doctored transcript or a doctored audio that comes with a transcript, which is a nice psychological sort of game that people play with garbled audio. I'll tell you this. My client's role was to help drain water off of a boat that reported it being in distress. There were 20 plus people separated between those two boats. All of them saw what he did. All of them saw what did and didn't happen. There were 2 credible witnesses at least that saw Nolan Wells on Horn Island an hour and a half after those 2 boats left. And my client cooperated with the authorities from the very beginning, never required a warrant, allowed for the inspection of his boat, his GPS, his phone, gave list of witnesses, and answered every question that was asked. So yeah, people are just fabricating things wildly. And the consequence of that is that you've got people who are in legitimate fear for their lives. Our viewpoint is not, we can't stop the entire internet. But I think we believe that we can do enough to convince people that there are some potentially real consequences if you lie and it puts people in danger.
Okay, so one thing is for sure. He did say this was doctored. Hear me out.
Call that purports to have a background conversation that is suggested sounds like people explaining the murder of Nolan. What is the legitimacy of the audio? The word Bart is in there, and I know real people with real platforms are pointing the finger at your client.
Yeah, so we don't see any legitimacy in a doctored transcript or doctored audio that...
Doctored audio. What do you think? Like I said, there is definitely room to interpretation. There definitely is. Let's just keep it real. Definitely room for interpretation. It's hard to understand what's being said in the very beginning of that audio. It really is. There are some things that do sound like what has been transcribed. But we also got to remember, they are also talking about a boat that's sinking, and there could be things that are going on that sounds like they're talking about a person that may be dead, but they may only just be referring to the actual boat. And I know everybody's like, oh, yeah, they're killing him right there on the boat. Are we sure about that? Are we sure about that? So he's now saying, this lawyer, the lawyer for Bart, is saying that this audio has been doctored. What say you on that? I don't know. To me, I feel like, why would anybody put out that kind of audio to try to throw things off if it was fake? I think it's a very strong thing to say out here when that allegedly is the audio that everyone has received. Like I said, I just don't know if that's the place for anybody to say anything like that, right? Because I truly think that audio is real. Do I think the audio, what they transcribed it as, is it accurate? I don't know. I can't say that part, but I do think that audio is real. I can prep 2 things so much for the love. Why immediately hire someone who handles civil lawsuits as opposed to criminal attorneys is my criminal attorney is my question. You know, I can't answer that. That's a damn good question. I don't know why, but I think it's because of the name. I think, you know, if you're referring to Benjamin Crump, which is clearly what you're referring to, I think the reason why they brought Benjamin Crump is because of his name, his notoriety. You know, whether the name is notorious or famous, okay, in your neck of the woods. One thing is for sure, this is going to get people turning their heads and looking towards that situation. And maybe, you know, honestly, I can't speak for the family because I'm not in that family. But I would assume that maybe they think some unjustified thing happened to their kid. That's it. And this literally could be, okay, we got to look at two different options. You got two parents. Either you got parents who are doing exactly what they need to do and just want to understand what actually happened to their son. Or you have parents that are, of course, grieving, angry, and all of this is taken way out of proportion, that this is one big misunderstanding about the phone being in the hands of somebody else, his keys being in the hands of somebody else as well, that all of this is just one big misunderstanding that has just been blown out of proportion, and the parents just went to the extreme because they feel like something unjustified happened to their son, and it could just be one big fat-ass misunderstanding that just blew up out of proportion. That could very well be it too. Think about that. I know. Because what's going to happen if we see that, you know, what are you going to see if suddenly the autopsy, the independent, or not the independent, the county autopsy, the toxicology results come back, and if we find out that he just really did just drown and it was a tragic accident, you know, how do you think that's going to sit with the general public? There's so much speculation, there's so much side-eyeing already, that as soon as they come out and say, if they were to say that, okay, that he had alcohol in his system, but that's not the thing that took his life. He died from drowning. Do you really think that the general public that has been gung-ho saying that he has lost his life in an unjust way, do you really think that they're going to walk away from the results saying that, okay, all right, he did drown. Our bad. We made a mistake. Moving on. No. They're going to literally go, the people who are gung-ho are going to be like, nope, something unjust happened to this kid. And they're going to continue side-eyeing the kids, his friends, the families involved in this. There are going to be people still saying that this is a cover-up till they die. That's the sad thing about this whole situation. I think that the parents thought something nefarious happened to their son right off the bat. That's what I think. And I don't blame them for thinking that. I'd be side-eyeing the hell out of that too. And I'd want to get down to the bottom of it. Because if you really think about it, you're trusting their friends to protect him as he would protect them, to make sure that they're okay. He goes out to Horn Island and he doesn't come back alive. His phone is in the hands of somebody else. Allegedly things are deleted from his phone, so they can't even see what he was doing during that time. Those are weird things. His keys are somewhere else, so on and so forth, right? That's sus as hell. I don't blame the parents for sitting there going, we want justice, we want clarity. Oh, let's not forget this too. You got friends that are saying one thing, his friends saying, oh yeah, he ran off with Katie, and then you got Katie saying something completely different. No, he went back with his friends. That's weird too. So once you add all of that, wouldn't you expect the parents, as a parent, to be like, something wrong happened here. We're going to get down to the bottom of it. Whether you like my face on TV every single day or not, we're going to get down to the bottom of it. And I'm definitely not going to let my son or my loved one's name just be a side conversation off to the side. No, I'm bringing in a name that's going to make sure his name stays out there. So I'm calling in Benjamin Crump. You do what you need to do to get clarity, and those, if there needs to be justice, you do what you need to bring those to justice as quickly and as best as possible. And if you got to play a little dirty, I mean, if you consider Benjamin Crump playing dirty, I don't see that. I see this is a move to keep their son's name relevant and to shine a bigger light on this case. So it adds more pressure to the officials that are investigating this case. Because you know for a fact, if Benjamin Crump wasn't involved, it would just be a blip on the radar. And the parents would be knocking on the police department's doors. The sheriff county, Jackson County Sheriff's Office over and over and over again, being like, do you have any more information? And not hearing anything is even more devastating. And I also got to remind you, the only reason why they had a meeting with the DA and got more information about this investigation was because there was so much media attention on this case. Think about that too. Remember, she went on to the Griot. She had an interview. The parents had an interview. And Elmore and Christine basically said, yeah, we haven't heard from anyone in over a week. As soon as that interview came out, because this was a huge case, what happened? 5 seconds later, the very next mother-loving day, they're in a room with the DA being like, we're so sorry. We're so sorry that we haven't been, keeping our lines of communication very strong with you. We're going to work on that. We're going to be better. Remember? And then they walked out of that office, of that meeting, saying, yeah, they're going to open up the lines of communication better with us and everything. We haven't heard anything yet, but we should be hearing something new very soon. I just don't think any of those things would have been possible if they did not have the likes of a notorious or famous name like Benjamin Crump. They would not be on Good Morning America, the Today Show, ABC, every CNN, News Nation, all in one mother-loving day. Nah, not at all. Benjamin Crump has some resources. He has a certain set of skills. They hired him to use and utilize exactly that. Would you be mad at anybody else that brought in a lawyer that can help expedite a few things? If you don't know where your kid is, or if you believe your son or daughter lost their life in an unjust way, I'll tell you right now, I guarantee every single damn one of us would be hiring the likes of somebody like that. If it means getting the truth. So again, like I said, I mean, all those that are so mad about Benjamin Crump being involved, shoot, if he plays that card, if he plays that game, then he plays that game. I mean, that's what he gets paid for. Real talk. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, it's finding out what happened to Nolan Wells. And if there is justice that needs to be handed to somebody, then justice needs to be handed. And hopefully it's quicker rather than it just being another Kendrick Johnson situation. Another Tamla Hosford situation. And the multitude of other cases that have gone just dormant because there was no investigation. That they said, oh, there was no foul play in this, and they just move on. Remember, that's exactly what happened. As soon as they found his body, they just said, yeah, we suspect no foul play, no autopsy done, no nothing. That's all that they said. That's all that they mother loving said. You know for a fact if Benjamin Crump wasn't involved, that's all, it would have stopped right there. The mom would still be like, but the cell phone was in the hands of somebody else. But that would be stories that we would hear from true crime podcasters and YouTubers, and it'll be a small little blurb on Facebook pages and maybe in an article, and then we would hear nothing after that. And then suddenly out of nowhere, another podcaster out of nowhere a year from now will be like, on this episode of Nolan Wells, we do a deep dive into the mysterious death of this 18-year-old young man who was on Horn Island with a bunch of his friends, and then suddenly his body was found 2 days later, washed up ashore. His mother thinks that there's more. It's more than just foul play. She believes that something nefarious happened on that island. But the police say nothing happened. They say no foul play has happened. So here we are, a year later, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to do a deep dive, a 1-year anniversary of Nolan Wells' death. Enjoy the show. Listen, that's literally what would happen. Literally. And it would be a mystery. You know what I mean? Be a mystery all day long. Mystery, mystery, mystery. If she did not bring in some sort of legal representation or a name like Benjamin Crump. Whether you like him or not, I'm telling you right now, he's there to do his job, and he's going to do the job whether you like it or not, baby. So again, instead of it just being another black kid's story, another black kid's, death just goes off and just disappears, and it becomes a thing that you talk about once a year, she's saying, F that. I want to find out right now. I don't want to keep asking these questions till I'm blue in the face, till I'm dead. And my son's story just turns into a, unsolved mystery. Like, that's not cool. That's not okay. So again, I don't blame the parents for doing what they're doing. I don't blame them for hiring who they hired. Get that information, get that justice. If justice needs to be had. Okay? Real talk. That's it. Sometimes you got to get somebody who's willing to play dirty. And that's Benjamin Crump. Just is what it is, y'all. Whether you like it or not. And there's plenty of other lawyers that we've seen. Oh, my dear Lord. We've seen some lawyers. Okay, in our day and on this show. Have mercy. Okay? They're all doing the same doggone thing. So, we'll see what happens here, though. Okay, let me end this. This for 572 votes. Out of 572 votes, I said, are you for Nolan's friends getting a gift send go? 65% of y'all say no. Out of 573 votes. Damn. Okay. So you guys aren't for it. Okay. You have spoken. Damn. 65% of y'all are not okay with it. Ain't that something? Anyway, that is the show. Thank you so much for tuning in and being part of the conversation. Thank you so much for tuning in. We got a lot to talk about. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Whether you agree with me or not, hopefully you enjoyed the show. Okay? Please do me a favor, though. If you can, hit that like button down below. Crush it, do it, do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, I'm on all them bugs. So make sure you hit that follow button. Follow. Make sure you subscribe to this channel right here. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show. Clip, subscribe over there as well. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all on all these platforms, especially these 2 YouTube channels. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, it's random and a lot of times it's breaking news or when we can get into this room and talk. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out that Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there, so please go check it out. PascalMerch.com. Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll be talking here very, very soon. Time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. Yes.